Hello, beautiful women of Facebook. Jessica Lozano here, women's relationship and embodiment coach and mentor, helping women have incredible and extraordinary relationships with the love of their life and be in that full divine feminine essence that mm, makes life so juicy, so yummy, that keeps your relationship alive and thriving through your sexual polarity. So, I wanted to give you a little behind the scenes today of day 17 of the keloid therapy that I'm doing. This is a keloid that I have on my chest. Right now it has magnesium gel. This gel, well, this isn't the actual bottle. I put it in this little bottle because it comes in a really big bottle. And I put it on twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day to really keep this energy of the keloid soft because that's what it does. I think it helps break it down or something like that. That's what my scar specialist, Kendra, um, told me to get right away. I've also been doing microneedling on it. I have a microneedle that I bought and I've been numbing it and then putting microneedle or using the microneedle for about 10-15 minutes. So, and then I also do some exercises, some tangible things where I'm actually massaging it, moving the scar tissue around, some stretches, some exercises, and all the things with this keloid, right? And that's like a very small part of the things that we need to do because, like anything, there's also an emotional, energetic, spiritual component to healing, right? There's the things that you do and the things that you be, right? You can even look at it as in the polarity aspect of the masculine things that you do and the feminine things that you are feeling, right? Inside of this keloid, right? This has been quite a journey. I'll share a little bit about it. So I got this keloid. It was at one point the size of literally probably half of the tip. So you see that extra tip that's hanging out from my skin here on. It was probably about half the size of that when I first realized there was something on my chest. So what covered it was this necklace that I always wore that was a gift from my mother. It was given to me when I graduated vocational school for personal training, and it was a dumbbell. And this dumbbell, it wasn't a flat charm, it was like a 3D charm. You could even interpret it as a dumbbell or like a barbell. So it had the weights on the outside that were 3D, so like a circular, and then there was like a bar in the middle. You can kind of almost see how it looks like the outline of a dumbbell or a barbell. I wore this necklace all the time to shower, to the beach, to all the things. I never working out, I never took it off. And at the time, I would do a lot of circuit training. So there was like a lot of jumping, a lot of burpees, a lot of squat jumps, a lot of running, a lot of like um, using the battle ropes, ball slams, right? So there was a lot. The dumbbell kept hitting my chest all the time. And at this time in my life is when I got involved with my ex fiance. And I was so into this relationship, so blindly devoted to this relationship, to this man, that really I ignored all parts of me, so much so that I physically could not feel this keloid that was developing behind the necklace, which I mentioned was very, very, very tiny. One day I took it off and I saw that, oh wow, there's like a little bump there and it looked more like a pimple, so I kind of messed with it and I never put the necklace back on, and little by little this keloid started to grow. So the keloid grew to maybe about the size of the actual length of this, right? And by that time that I wanted to get shrunk, I was engaged and I wanted to get shrunk so that I could, look really nice for my wedding day. So I got it shrunk through a plastic surgeon where they would put injections into it. So it shrunk, it flattened, and then eventually it just grew back. And when it grew back bigger. Then I did another series of sessions with other dermatologists, three like different dermatologists, couple of injections. Each one it would shrink and then it would always come back bigger. And the last time I said, I'm not touching this keloid, right? I am not touching it. Nobody's putting their hands on it until I find myself a specialist, right? I find myself a specialist. And then I had friends like, well, I got a special dermatologist, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, okay, go ahead, tell them what I need to do. And then they would send back the information. I'm like, that's exactly what every single one of them said. Like, I need a specialist that specializes in scars and more specifically keloids, right? This is not something that you can just normally, like, some keloids will go away with just doing the injections. I've had friends who and clients who've done that, but for me it didn't work. It just grew back. So finally found one. Her name is Kendra. She's amazing. I'm actually, as soon as I'm done with this live, I'm gonna tag her Instagram. I'm not sure if she's on Facebook. She probably is, but we're not friends on Facebook. We connected through Instagram. She is fucking amazing. So with our process and with her process, she does both. She works at the practical things that you need to do, the techniques, the masculine things that you need to do to break up the tissue. And then, of course, there's an emotional component, especially because, and I knew there was an emotional component because it always grew back. And I knew, I was like, if it's always growing back, there's something tied into this keloid. And I had a feeling, right? Because this is when this happened was with my ex, right? It has to do with something with him. So as we're doing it, as we're doing the work together, it comes out there's actually some stuff to do with him because I've cleared a lot of energy with him, and it has some stuff to do with the masculine, but a lot of it is actually mother wounds. Mother wounds, which let me tell you, mother wounds are so tricky. I feel like the masculine wounds is there's such a different texture between the healing that you do with your like with your father wounds and then the healing that you do with your mother wounds. It's such a different texture and energy behind it. So I've been working with her since I think September. I think September of last year, 2023. So we're closing in on the year in the next few months here. So comes up to find out it's really a lot to do with mother wounds. So we've been working through that. And last night we had a session and she had me connect to my energy centers, right? Through your chakra centers, the main ones in our body, and to see where this keloid is, where there's still energy stuck in this keloid, right? Where there's still energy stuck in this keloid. So it came down to like some root chakra stuff again with my mother, some solar plexus stuff, more with my mother, but also this very specific time period that came up during this time, which is when I broke up with my ex and felt like I was really just kind of more alone than anything, than really supported in the innocence of my maiden energy during that time that happened. Then there was my throat chakra was also um, stuck in the keloid in terms of the energy of voicing my truth, voicing what I needed to say, not actually voicing correctly what I needed to say because I didn't know how to express any of that, and as well as my third eye with my own innate intuition, of what I knew was to be true and to be accurate with my feelings and with my intuition that was happening. But because there was older people around me, they knew better than me, right? I should listen to what they're doing. So that was really the wounding of my inner teenager and my young adult, right? And what's fascinating to me, and one of the other reasons why I put the subject headline on here also, which energy are you leading with, is because I had a session, the last call of Feminine Magic, one of the women that was talking about how you communicate with the masculine. And she said, well, it's easy for you, not easy for you. She's like, well, you have a healed inner child. So, my inner child expresses in a manipulative way, something to that context. And it was interesting for me to see that. And immediately I was like, my inner child is not healed. If my inner child was really healed, I would be like Mary Magdalene Ascended Master level, right? Teacher. I'm not. I'm not that. But I lead with my truth. I don't lead with my wounded inner child. My wounded inner child is in the back seat, right? She's a 7-year-old girl. She's a 14-year-old girl. She's a 22-year-old girl. I drive. I'll hear her. I'll feel her out. She has some truths that she needs to share. She has some insights that is probably very true, but I lead. I lead. And that's how I lead my relationships with men. That's how I lead my relationship with my partner. That's how I lead my life. Because let me tell you, my inner child acts the fuck up, right? There's still a lot of her stuck in this. A lot of energy still stuck in here. That's why this keloid has taken so long. Right? As a matter of fact, I went backwards when Ron moved down because there was just so much energy shifting, right? From him moving down, him making this big move. And one of the defaults that I have when I'm stressed is an anxious attachment. So I'm really overly concerned of how he's doing and make sure that he's okay. I get super anxious. It was wild to see how anxious I got. I haven't been that anxious and stressed out in a really long time when he actually moved in. But I was like, remember, I'm like, I don't know why I'm so stressed out, but I'm stressed out. Right? That's my inner child, right? But I know there's a, but I know when she's active, and it's something that all of us can learn to know when your inner child is activated so that you're not leading with that energy. Instead, you begin to lead with your truth and you begin to lead with your highest self. Um, so with that also being said, you don't have to be fully healed. Okay, listen to me carefully. You do not need to be fully healed, fully awakened in your feminine energy or in your masculine energy to call in the one. There is so much healing that happens that it cannot be done alone. That can only happen through your divine counterpart. So if there's any beliefs in you that I have to be healed in order to call in the one, he's gonna throw that out. Throw that out. Are there certain lessons that you probably have to go through before you, so that you can actually hold the energy of this powerful love? Yes. That doesn't mean that you are not worthy. You just have to be in this place of being open and willing to let everything that is not serving you die at the altar of love, at the altar of truth. So that's all I have to say today. I wanted that 13 minutes. God, I'm doing so good with these lives, not making them so long. It's probably because I'm doing them every day that it's like I have to come with specific. Um, I don't want to be on here for an hour every day, to be honest, which is, I'm liking this. I will have longer sessions, of course, but I mean, looking at my throat from yesterday with my keloid specialist, yeah. And it's so interesting because the root chakra off of everything, out of all those centers that were activated, was the strongest one. And the two that weren't, that didn't feel any connection to my keloid, was my sacral and my heart chakra, which I thought that was very interesting. So it had to do a lot more with masculine centers, which was the root, solar, and my throat. The third eye is more, I can say androgynous, but more feminine, I guess, if you're saying with like that. with intuition and all of that. But um yeah, the root chakra, which is like stability, as a teenager and as a young adult. And even before, I really feel that one, even before, even as I'm saying that, I feel more of the, like, when I was really little, like my first, when the abandoned wound was initiated, um, which, what do I want to say about that? Which our level of safety and our level of stability is how much power you can exude through yourself, right? You can't shoot a cannon off of a canoe in the ocean, right? That sort of power needs to be in a stable, strong, sturdy foundation. Where was I going with that? I'm not sure where I was going with that. I think that was more a message for myself to continue to work on my safety. And for you, if you're watching this, to work on your safety, right? That comes with that creating that self love and nurturing for your inner child, that she is safe. And that safety is required within you. Like you create the safety within. That creates the safety on the outside. So that's all I have to say. So yeah, cozy vibes today. I'm on my moon. Put the filter on. All right. Move clients around. I have one client today because I know that kind of she's more difficult to move around. Everyone else I did, so I can create so much spaciousness for myself, and it feels so good, so good. All right, that's all I have to say. So, mwah, bye.